Today marks 60 years since the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Kent Masterson Brown, a Lexington author and a filmmaker of American history, remembers that day well.
And he tells us that there are still some details of the event that still remain unsolved to this day. WKYT's Garrett Weimer and photojournalist Darnell Crenshaw have the story.
November 22nd, 1963, early afternoon. A 14-year-old Kent Masterson Brown was at study hall at Lexington's Morton Junior High when the news broke.
A teacher came in and told us all that the president has been assassinated in Dallas, Texas, and was pronounced dead. That left a profound mark on my psyche, really. I mean, I remember that day to this moment. I just felt uneasy, you know. You're almost a witness to a killing when you see it on television.
For his teenage eyes, this was just the beginning. 2 days later, he sees this. The accused assassin is shot.
He gets gunned down by Jack Ruby right on the screen. And you go, you know, is this world falling apart or what?
John F. Kennedy died at approximately 1 o'clock Central Standard Time today here in Dallas.
That was Mac Kilduff, the assistant press secretary to the president. He was in the motorcade when Kennedy was shot and killed. Later in life, Kilduff moved to Beattyville in Lee County. There are other Kennedy, Kentucky connections. On October 8, 1960, as a senator, Kennedy spoke at UK.
But I remember, you know, seeing it on the headlines and seeing pictures of him giving a talk here.
Just one of a number of visits he made to the Commonwealth. We asked this author and filmmaker of American history what he thinks about all the unsolved details surrounding the Kennedy assassination.
Somewhere, somehow, something will be found that shows that there were more involved in this than just Oswald himself.
In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
And Brown says that there's a chance that more facts could come out from the Kennedy assassination now that Robert Kennedy Jr. is a candidate for president.